Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us for our Google Hangout tonight. I'm really sorry for that delay.
Nice, that's all
I
my fault.
actually couldn't connect to the internet and was frantically trying to find a new Wi-Fi connection, and just got back on. So I guess this just deals with sometimes what happens when you deal with these type of things that deal with all different types of technical issues. So thanks to Tennys Sandgren for joining us tonight. For
No
those of
problem.
you that don't know Tennys, he is 22 years old, and he went and played college tennis at University of Tennessee for a year before going to play on the tour full time. He grew up in Knoxville, Tennessee, and he's going to tell us a little bit about he's recovering from injuries. He's going to tell us a little bit of what he's going through, and just give all kinds of advice for our juniors that are looking to go play college tennis and go play on the pro circuit as well too. So thank you very much for joining us, Tennys.
Oh, no worries. I'm glad we got it all sorted out, and I was able to
Yeah, so you can hear me and everything?
to get it going. I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, so tell us a little bit about what's going on right now and how recoveries from your surgery is going and everything.
It's going well. I had surgery March 5th, and the recovery's been kind of slow. I guess ligaments and bones take time to heal, and the recovery's been going well. I'm up here at the Winnetka Challenger, just practicing with guys and trying to get used to seeing that ball again. Today was my second day hitting, I guess, and I'm already pretty sore. But I'm getting there. I'm running, I'm running kind of normal and moving pretty normal on the court. I'm not quite there yet, probably at 80 or 90%, but I'm getting there, and I'm excited to be getting back on the court.
Nice. So at what point do you think you're going to be full go playing again?
I should be about full, maybe end of July, and that should give me about 3 or 4 weeks of heavy training before the Open starts, and the U.S. Open is my goal, first tournament back. Start with a bang.
Nice. So going through the injury and everything, I mean, we all deal with injuries at some point in our career. What's the hardest thing you've had to overcome from this surgery, and how do you really keep yourself with the right mental mindset to approach the rehab and everything day in and day out?
Right. I think the hardest part is just, when you're training, like before a tournament or something, you're just going as hard as you can every day. So you don't have to, figure out exactly what you need to do. It's just, do as much as you can, kind of. And after the surgery, I can't really push through any of the soreness or any of the pain. It's just, if there's pain, it's bad. And I've, kind of grown up that, if you're feeling pain, you just push through. So that idea of, if you're feeling some pain, stop. You're not doing something right. You need to, pull back and do a little bit less. And that, that idea of not doing quite as much as I would like to, I think is the hardest part. And sticking to a daily routine. It's kind of fluid as you're getting better. You start every other week. You can do more stuff, and just being on top of it. And I've had great people helping me with rehab and things like that, and so it's made my life a little easier. But just getting in that daily routine of getting all the work done that you need to, I think is crucial to coming back.
Nice. So one thing, juniors are always asking me for advice on what they should do to help them take their games to the next level.
Yeah.
And I always talk to them about setting goals for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of goals have you set yourself through this recovery process, and how important do you think it is to set goals for just not for your life in general and career in general?
I think setting goals is very important. As far as coming out of injury, for me, my biggest goal is just to be healthy. Everything I do in the day is geared towards getting back on the court and getting healthy and feeling 100% out there. I don't really have any performance goals. I just want to, get healthy and, get some tournaments under my belt before I start saying, okay, I want to be at this ranking and I want to, achieve this on the court. I just want to be healthy and compete again. So I've missed it a lot, being at home and not being able to play. So I'm just trying to get healthy at this point.
Nice. So now can you talk us a little bit about playing college tennis? Like, what was your favorite aspect of playing college tennis?
I mean, playing on a team, I think, is the biggest thing, because tennis is such an individual sport, and you're out there by yourself. And to play college tennis, you got a team of guys around you and coaches around you, and they help you with all different aspects. When you're juniors or just starting out playing professionally, you're kind of by yourself. So that team aspect is what I loved about college tennis the most. And just being able to work hard every day with school and tennis, it's kind of a full-time job to be a student athlete. I think it's one of the hardest things you can do to try and be successful in both your academics and your tennis. or whatever sport you play, really. And just time management, I think, is key to being a college athlete.
Nice. So for a lot of our juniors, there's a lot of them considering if they even want to play college tennis, and a lot of
Hmm.
them have decided they definitely want to play. They're just deciding on which route they want to go to.
Yeah.
If they want to play Division One, Division Two, or Division Three. Now, what do you think is the best thing for juniors to work on to help them get ready to be a college athlete?
I think something that's really important is just the physical fitness side of tennis. It's if you watch some of the last couple of Grand Slams, but those guys are so physical, and the game is so physical that if you're not one of the fittest guys on the court, you can't really play. No matter how good you are at tennis, you can't really play to the best of your ability. So I think putting in the extra hours to get your body able to compete for 2, 3, even 4 hours of tennis, I think is crucial. And a college tennis match, you have doubles and singles, and sometimes you have a double header on the day, so you're playing 4 matches. And I know a lot of junior tournaments, you might play 2 or 3 matches in a day, but just that emotional drain of playing college tennis match is a lot more than a junior tennis match, I think. And just preparing your body to do that and getting as physically fit as you can every day, I think is key as you're growing up and helping you mature.
So that actually takes us to some questions that we're getting now.
Nice.
Is when you're in the off season, how many hours do you practice on court a day, and how many hours do you spend in the gym training?
Um, I think the first week or two of the off season is normally about 4 weeks or so that you spend training. So like the first week and a half, it's maybe even like an hour, hour and a half on court. Nothing too crazy. And then in the gym though, it gets a little crazy, like maybe 3 hours, 3.5 hours, maybe even 4 hours in the gym, just doing a bunch of different stuff, lifting and doing agility and heavy cardio stuff and sprint work. Just there's so much that you can do to get better. And then as the off season progresses, you up your tennis time to 2 or 3 hours on court, and maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours in the gym. It just kind of changes. The amount of hours kind of stays the same, but it changes to more of a tennis focus as you get closer to getting ready for a tournament as far as off season is concerned.
Nice. So going back to the pro circuit, what is the favorite part of the world that you have traveled to so far?
Uh, I get asked this, quite a bit. I think Australia. I really like Australia a lot. I've been to Brisbane and Melbourne in Australia, and I think it's really cool. Melbourne, especially, you're like 30 minutes from the beach, and that beach scene is really cool. And it's a big city, but it doesn't really feel like a big city. It's not too crazy. Um, I like Melbourne a lot. I think it's one of my favorite places I've been to.
um, so somebody just asked, what is the craziest travel adventure that you've had, traveling the world?
I had a couple when I was in traveling Europe this past year, last year, before I think after the French Open and before the summer hardcourt stuff here in the U.S. I went to Romania and Slovakia and Morocco, and I had a couple long drives with some guys who had cars, and we drove through multiple countries, and going through customs in a car was very interesting, and flying into Morocco and getting through that whole trip was uh, that was tough. That was a tough trip. It was a tough travel trip. Remember the tournament in Morocco, we had to take an hour taxi just to get to the courts from the hotel every day, and sometimes it was more than an hour with traffic. And I thought that was a little ridiculous, to be honest. But that trip, I think, was one of the toughest trips I've had to do.
Nice. And so going back to the Tennessee, who is, I'm assuming you're still a diehard Vol fan, right?
Oh, for sure. Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
Who's the most famous Vol alum?
I think we all know it's Peyton Manning. I mean, Peyton Manning
Yeah, that's
is
what I
just the
figured.
quintessential Vol. He is. I mean, that guy is something else. He really is. He's what every Vol wants to be.
Yeah. Which it should be a good year of football in the SEC this year, that's for sure.
We'll see. I'm looking for us to make a push. Every year we're getting better, and this year I don't think we'll be any exception.
All right, so going back to tennis real fast, when you have weaknesses in your game, What do you do to focus in on them and overcome them so that you get better?
I think working on your weaknesses is good. If you have deficits in your game, it can really hurt you, like your own body. I mean, if you have a small injury, like you have a sprained finger, and even though every other part of your body is working great, that one small weakness could be your downfall. So working on your weaknesses is great, but you also need to work on your strengths. Like if your backhand isn't as good as your forehand, well, you can make up for a lot of that with a big forehand and running around your backhand. So I think working on your weakness is great, but also focusing on your strengths is really key, and playing to what you're good at.
Nice. I'm just getting a few questions here. Sap asked, who is your favorite hitting partner on tour?
Favorite hitting partner? I think my buddy Ryan Williams, I think, is the guy I like to hit. We always have good hits. We've played a lot together in school and before school and after school, and we've probably practiced together a couple hundred times maybe. So I think we always have good hits, and he's a guy that we have fun out there when we're playing.
Well, that actually takes us to another question that Patrick asked. He says, tell us one embarrassing story about Ryan.
Oh, man. Oh.
There's got to be some good ones from all the years.
Embarrassing story about Ryan. How many people are watching this? No.
Related to tennis.
He's had a couple on the court. Anyone who's seen Ryan play, I think, has maybe seen a couple embarrassing moments from Ryan. I think one, he may have. There's too many, to be honest. There's too many. Almost every time he plays a match, he does something that is kind of hysterical and kind of embarrassing. Whether it's the racket toss or hat throw, using a few choice words. He's the character, and he not afraid to put his heart on his sleeve. That's for sure.
Nice. Scott just asked. He says, as a junior, what is the right number of hours to be on court per week?
Oh, that's tough. I know personally, I would spend 3 or 4 hours a day playing. I was kind of obsessed. I couldn't get enough of practicing and trying to be as best as I could. But I think it's something that you have to listen to your body. I think as a young person, I think you're more prone to injuries because your body's just not mature yet. So I think you have to be careful with the amount of hours you do spend on the court and listen to your body. And if something's bothering you, not afraid to take a day off or 2 days off even, or however much time you need really to get your body right. But I think 2 or 3 hours a day of good intense practice, I think is plenty growing up.
And then Brian asks, he goes, how important or unimportant are junior tournaments and results in the 12s and 14s with regard to success later?
I don't think results really mean much till even you're talking about professional tennis. You see some guys that really don't do much in the juniors at all, and then they maybe get through college and they get on a roll and they start doing well. I mean, you look at Steve Johnson or John Isner. I don't think they were at where they are at now growing up, but they've constantly improved their games and working on their games and getting better and having fun with it. And I think those are the important things growing up are just to practice and have fun. And if you're not having fun on the court, you're probably not going to get better over a long period of time. And I think those results, I don't think they mean much. People's bodies mature at very different rates, and to put stock into 12 or 14's results, I mean, if you're doing well, that's great. But just keep having fun and keep working hard. I think those are the two most important things.
Did you play in older age groups growing up in juniors, or did you kind of stay in your age range?
It kind of depended on the tournaments, I think. Nationally, I think I generally played in my age group. I think maybe when I was 15 or 16, I maybe played some 18 events, but the bigger national tournaments I played in the 16s. Like state tournaments, I probably was playing up a little earlier, just because competition-wise, it's a little different than on a national scale. But generally in my own age division, I know some guys my age, like Ryan, for instance, he played in the 18s a lot sooner than I did, and it worked for him. And playing in my age division, worked for me. I think it's just where you can find the best level of competition to where you're winning, maybe 60-70% of your matches. If you're winning more than that, you probably need to, play in a higher age division, so where you're getting tested more. And if you're losing, more than that, then, you're probably where you should be. So, you kind of have to look at those things, and not just say, I'm 14, so let's play 18s now or something like that. It's very fluid. You just have to do what's right and what competition-wise you can play.
Yeah, definitely. And then Ted asks, he goes, are you still using the Wilson Steam, and what string tension are you using?
I'm still using the Steam. I didn't use it for a couple months there as I was sitting down most of the day, but still using the Steam, and I'm stringing it right around 42 or 43 pounds. Changes with the weather and how the courts are playing, but right around that tension is where I'm at.
Wait, are a lot of people moving to a lower tension now?
Yeah, that's been kind of the trend, especially with these polyester strings like Luxolon and strings like that. You can create a lot more spin, and with more spin, you can drop your tension a lot lower. So I know like guys like Jack Sock, I know he strings his rackets at like 35, which is kind of crazy loose. But a lot of guys are stringing it low, mid 40s. And like I said, changing their tension with the weather, and if it's hot, the balls are flying. If it's cold, they're just rocks. So it changes with that, but that's definitely been the trend.
Nice. Yeah, not that I'm any good at tennis. I still string mine above 60. So I gotta get caught up a little bit.
You got to change with the times, man. You got to change with the times.
Nick asked, he says typical diet. So what's a good diet for during weeks of tournaments, the nights before, day of?
Definitely a lot of fluids. If you're doing a lot of training and doing a lot of activity, because there's a lot of water in your muscles, so you definitely have to stay hydrated. And I think maybe in the mornings, anything that you can get some carbs and some protein in, a good balance of that, and a lot of veggies and fruit and things like that. But general rules like not a lot of carbs, after 6 or whatever, things like that to help your weight. And like I said, like a good morning breakfast, like some oatmeal and some eggs and maybe a couple breakfast sausages or something like that, just to help fuel your body the right way.
Okay, perfect. The question is, what was your best match in a tournament you remember, and what you think was your keys to winning it? So what was your most memorable tournament win so far in your career?
I would probably say the Champaign Challenger finals last year, since that was the match that I won my first Challenger with, and just staying calm. I remember I played Sam Groth, who's another ADNA guy. He's got one of the biggest serves on tour. He has the fastest recorded serve ever. So staying calm while he hits ace after ace by me was probably the key to that match, and just staying focused on what I have to do. It's easy to let a big server affect your own game, but just staying within yourself and staying calm, I think, were keys to that one.
Nice. And then Scott asked, it kind of ties with it, and just talking about staying calm and being mentally tough. And Scott asked, what do you do to improve the mental part of your game?
Not enough. Not enough. It's just a daily thing. You work on it in practice. You work on it playing video games. You can work on it doing anything that is testing making you want to go crazy. Driving, even somebody cuts you off. Just staying patient and staying calm and trying to, at least in everything that you do. Because if you let it slip in the little things, you'll let it slip in the big things. So just focusing on it, it's kind of like a life choice almost. Then it's hard to just flip it on in a match. Like, okay, now I'm going to be calm when you spent the last week raging at every little thing. So I try to, at least, but it doesn't always work out.
Yeah. All right, well, I think that is good, Tennys, so we appreciate your time and everything. Good luck with the recovery.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate it.
for everybody that stayed on to watch, we appreciate you, waiting the half hour there as we work through all the technical difficulties. So thanks again for that.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks so much, Tennys, for coming on. Everybody really appreciates it.
Oh, no worries. Anytime. Thank you guys for listening in on us.
Good luck, Tennys.
Thanks. Take care, Ben.
Yep. Bye.